Yo, what's good? It's a quick one, man. First thing in the morning before I head back out. Okay, so Deshaun Watson, Houston Texans quarterback, got that big contract a couple years ago. Um, well, 2 months ago, he basically announced his displeasure for Houston. He doesn't want to be in Houston anymore. The team is, it's just a mess. It's crazy to think a year ago they were up 20 points against the Chiefs in the playoffs, and they blew it, and they haven't been the same since. They traded DeAndre Hopkins for pennies. J.J. Watt just left. The team is falling apart. Bill O'Brien got fired. You know what I mean? So he wants out, and Houston hasn't. He's demanded a trade. Houston hasn't really pulled the trigger yet. They've been flirting with a couple of teams, and it's a new rumor every day about where he could possibly end up. The Bears, the Seahawks, the Jets, the Dolphins. Nothing's happened. I don't even think they're gonna trade him. They paid him a lot of money a year ago, and I don't think they're gonna pull the trigger. They're trying to do whatever they can to try to sway him to stay and be happy. So they hired some random black coach nobody knows, And really, Houston just took one for the team because that's what the NFL, the ownership, it's a team. It's kind of like you got to take one for the boys. No, there were 7 head coaching vacancies, and nobody had hired a black coach. So Houston had to take one for the team and be the one team to use the Rooney Rule and actually hire a black coach. But that wasn't good enough to please Deshaun Watson. I really don't even think they did it to please Watson. I really think they just did that to save face. Because like I say, the NFL is a shield, and those owners, they're gonna always look out for each other no matter what. They're not as passionate about these rivalries as much as these fans are. Jerry Jones, the Cowboys and the Eagles fans might hate each other, but Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder from the Redskins and all these guys eat brunch. These guys party. These guys negotiate deals. They're the buddies. It's a good old boy system. And the thing about this morning is Deshaun Watson. Now, yesterday somebody randomly says that he's been randomly accused of sexual assault. Local news in Texas, and as a result of social media, he said. I have not yet seen the complaint, but I know I have never treated any woman with anything but the utmost respect. The plaintiff's lawyer claims that this isn't about money, but filing a suit, he made a baseless 6-figure settlement demand, which he quickly rejected. So this is a girl. This is supposed to be a massage gone wrong. This woman that's coming out of nowhere saying that he sexually assaulted her. I just find it very odd that. This black quarterback, the moment he decides he wants to demand a trade and go against the powers that be, and there's been a few critics who say, how dare, like Brett Favre, how dare he complain and he just got $100 million, And I'm like, well, it's flexibility. I remember in 07 when Kobe demanded a trade from the Lakers because the Lakers stunk and he was in his prime and didn't want to spend any more time in a rebuild phase. And Deshaun Watson is the same thing. I'm not saying he's Kobe, but you get what I'm saying. When you in your prime, you want to be on a contending team. And the Houston Texans were a contender up until this year. Then they won 4 games, and it's a miracle they did that. But I find it funny that as soon as this man demands a trade, all of a sudden a sexual assault comes out, a lawsuit. He's never had I don't think Deshaun Watson's ever been arrested before. He's never had any off the field issues. Girlfriend is gorgeous on Instagram, if you see it, by the way. This is bullshit. And it's like AB. They did the same thing with Antonio Brown. Every allegation, charge, or whatever he had against him, it all went away. None of it stuck. I think he's got a silver suit going on right now, but because he smashed the neighborhood surveillance camera, but that's nothing. I find it funny that this only happens to black players in the NFL. When's the last time a white player in the NFL had a sexual assault case on him? I'm not talking about that guy who beat up his girlfriend in Smithereens about a month ago. I'm talking, you don't see white players getting in these type of allegations getting put against them. You just don't. Antonio Brown went to New England, was supposed to revive his career after Oakland didn't work in Pittsburgh, and after his first game, went to Miami, his home city, scored a touchdown, had a good game. A couple days later, here comes a sexual allegation charge from his former trainer. I'm like, really? Like, I can't help but to think, conspiracy or not, like, a lot of this shit is it really a coincidence that after his first week back, after he had a dominant game with a team that is usually a Super Bowl contending team that, somebody just wants to. It's kind of like the old saying on Sopranos that I tried to leave and they brought me back, or whatever. What was Sil used to say? Every time I try to leave, they bring me right back. You know what I mean? He's trying to turn his life around, and you dragging him. Come here, back into the quicksand, back into the cesspool, the bullshit. But you don't see this with white players in the NFL. You only see it in the with black players. You know, it's like a guy takes a stand for himself, and all of a sudden, I just don't believe it. He's never had any allegations or any criminal record before. Deshaun Watson is like what they call, he's a good old boy. You know what I mean? He's never had any issues. But yeah, I find it very ironic as soon as he stands up for himself and goes against the powers that be, which is unheard of in the NFL. NBA players do this type of shit all the time. You seen, like I said, Kobe did this in 07 with the Lakers and Kobe pretty much pouted until they got him Pau Gasol and made some moves. That is a fact. A lot of guys in the NBA do that. NFL, they don't let you just do that. Both leagues have a plantation type system, but the NFL, like, they still giving niggas 100 lashes. And this is very rare in the NFL that a quarterback, and there's been quarterbacks more accomplished than him that have been unhappy that haven't even put their team on Front Street like that. So, he has upset a lot of people. Most importantly, the Houston Texans, and now it's like, okay, they're gonna try to take him down from within. That's what it looks like, So hopefully, Deshaun Watson is successful in this lawsuit thing, and hopefully he just gets traded. But it looks like an inside job to me. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I'm out.